Aloha, friends and family, and welcome back to the reading of our cosmic origin. Picking it up in section 2, chapter 7, a brief history of our forgotten galactic past. Long ago in the records of our forgotten stellar lineage, there lays a story that pertains to the real history of our Milky Way galaxy. If you thought Star Wars was fiction, then guess again. Perhaps this is one of the most kept and secured secrets preserved by the forces of light and suppressed by the dark forces. For some, this might be a bit far-fetched. For others, it will trigger lost memories of an ancient forgotten past that has been stored up in our DNA as we have all existed prior to this planetary round. It might be important to reassert that we are eternal spiritual beings that originated in light. Most importantly, we have existed in many dimensions prior to becoming temporarily stuck in the third dimension, which is the lowest condensing point of light energy vibration. The creation of the original biological man came as a result of the formation of all galactic systems, which embodied dimensions 12 to 1. The original humans, or rather us back then, were of an etheric nature with functional light bodies that allowed us to exist in multiple levels of reality simultaneously. This type of existence included all dimensions, from the higher ninth dimensional frequency to the sixth dimensional frequency, where ether began to take on more solid substance, reaching the fifth dimension, where it becomes refined matter. It was, however, at the vibration frequency of the eighth dimensions when we descending spiritual etheric beings began to inherit etheric material physical bodies, or rather our energy bodies just become denser. The only difference between those vehicles and our third dimensional organic vehicle is that those of the fifth and fourth densities were of more refined matter-based substance, also known as Morontia matter. Nevertheless, it is in the fifth dimension where energy and matter have a perfect fluctuating equilibrium. This is where the spirit of the individual may freely manipulate matter instantaneously to convert its physical substance back into pure energy or light body. This allows the individual to travel to other dimensions and back into gross physical dense form. With that, we've said the condensed version of the war in heaven as explained in the Bible is more detailed to the effects of this version. From the onset of the celestial Luciferian revolt, there was a cosmic battle that had contaminated the local universe of Nebadon among other local universes. The first galaxies to be restored were the ones that were revolving around Salvington, the headquarters and capital of our local universe of Nebadon. That is the abode of Lord Michael and the Elohim lords and ladies of light. According to the records of Nebadon, it has been believed that the last galactic system to be restored was our local galaxy, the Milky Way, which is one of 12 galaxies within our own local universe domain. In fact, some sources believe that our galaxy acted as a depository for the unpurged intelligence that didn't want to accept the light by taking refuge in our Milky Way. This type of situation also occurred to our own planet when the forces of light won the Battle of Orion, as will be revealed. According to restored galactic history and backed by esoteric ancient records, our current Earth originally belonged to the Sirius system, which is the system that encircles the great central sun and the periphery of the first concentric circle extending from the center of our galaxy outward. It is where the light of our galaxy's central sun first anchored the covenant that became known as the Seal of Paladar, which is equivalent to the agreement known as the covenant that God and Abraham established here in our world. It was therefore in Sirius where the seed of light and life began during our galaxy's infant stage. From Sirius, the great quest to spread and secure the universal light force that emanates from the center of the galaxy was anchored. Now, let's say that George Lucas did an excellent job in writing Star Wars. Some mystics and initiates of the secret knowledge believe that Mr. Lucas tapped into the Akashic records, if not of our own galaxy, then perhaps another, as an adept of the secret knowledge. In fact, in order to understand our own ancient galactic wars, it is almost a prerequisite to first watch the Star Wars trilogy as a trigger to our own galactic history. As the true story of our long-forgotten galactic history unfolds, there indeed was a time in which the Earth and our entire solar system were positively interacting and connected to the other colonized interplanetary, stellar, and galactic star systems in our Milky Way galaxy. Emergent facts that our planet was part of galactic culture have been revealed by the ancient artifacts and confirmed by the new science. In esoteric literature, it is disclosed that our local sun star system, Helios Investa, was revolving about and part of the Sirian trinary systems. As revealed, the Earth we inhabit was part of the Vega solar system located in the constellation of Lyra in the galactic sector of Sirius B. It was from this constellation, agreed by both esoteric and modern revelations, that humanity began the colonization of our Milky Way galaxy, particularly from the Lyra-Vega system. In support of this, our science is now suggesting that our Earth and the solar system could be part of a trinary star system. In fact, thanks to telescopes, our scientists are postulating that most stars in our galaxy are part of multiple star systems. This concept proposes the theory that most worlds in our galaxy are part of a convergent of evolutions where human beings exist in other solar systems and worlds within our Milky Way. The theory of convergent evolutions validates the fact that we indeed share a common ancestry throughout the cosmos. To further understand this, let's go back to our story about the cosmic descent. Since our galaxy is one of billions of galaxies, perhaps a younger one, then we may now understand how the concept of mankind as a materialized being of light has been involved in a long descending process known as involution. Therefore, we may assume that intelligently advanced human-like beings, celestials, not only crossed over into our galaxy from other colonized galaxies, but also primitive life forms were produced organically and new planets from within new forming galaxies as humanoids or terrestrials. So what we have here is descending celestial intelligences from the top central spheres down to the material spheres and ascending newly organic terrestrial mammalian creatures moving up from the bottom up. According to esoteric thought, it is believed that the celestial descending children of light of the central universe spheres seeded all material realms and all galactic systems. They planted the angelic humanoid seed, the Adam Kadmon, not only in our galaxy, but also in all other existing galaxies. And they are in the billions, considering the entire periphery of the expanding central universe spheres. So in the case of our galaxy, in the local universe of Nebadon, it was Lord Michael with his twin flame, Faith, Michelle, that gave birth to the entire human lineage. Also to understand that in our galaxy, humanity was not the only descending spirit being that was seated in physical form, for we also had to deal with the followers of fallen Lord Samana. Unfortunately, the followers of Samana had also planted their seed in our galaxy from the moment they escaped the purification of the Andromeda galaxy. As revealed earlier, these fallen light beings became translated as the reptoids and dinoid species, the extraterrestrial group of negative ETs that have been identified by today's ufologist and secret space programs. It has been held that the reptilians existed before the humans in our galaxy. However, it has been brought to my awareness that humanity's original form was celestial in nature, and therefore in that form we existed prior to the seeding of the fallen celestials. Although some sources believe that the reptoids and andinoids had condensed further into the lower fourth dimension, for they only operated out of the lower chakras, while the original descending celestial humans, mankind in its original makeup, operated mainly from their higher chakras. It is believed that the fallen light beings, followers of Samana, originated in the 11th major creation, the universe of mechanism. As a result, they had to depend more on exterior technology rather than their natural light body. Therefore, they are always polarized to the extreme of technological capabilities, as confirmed by restored information. These reptilians were also known as the ancient serpent race in the more mystical traditions of the various world mythologies. They were the product and children of the non-cosmic black ray of Lord Samana, our historical Lucifer. Samana created them with the intent to populate our entire galaxy in order to prevent the spreading of the universal living light force by obstructing it and thus ending all life forms in our Milky Way. From their inception, the fallen angels translated as serpent beings and were given several directives, or what is known as creation myths. The first directive was to destroy all humanoid species because Samana's new humans were bioconductors of the living light, the central sun, through their Antakarana, a vertical line that connects all humans with the central sun of their galaxy and the center core of their planet. The second directive was related to the first directive, and that was to subdue and enslave any species that they encountered, because they were told that the galaxy was theirs to control and do as they wish. Their final directive was that in the end, after succeeding in the first two directives, they were to bring the entire galaxy under their absolute power and control in order to destroy all 12 dimensions and our galaxy as we know it. The reptilians were designed to accomplish these three directives as encoded in them by fallen Lord Samana. That is why it is important to relate the concept of world domination and absolute power invested in one person as Luciferian in nature, as it originated with the fallen angels. Collectively, they became known as the children of darkness, as described in the Sephiroth Hebrew text of the Kabbalah. It appears that the formation of the reptilian bipedal vehicle was no mystery for fallen Lord Samana, who needed to create, or rather biogenetically engineer, vehicles for his fallen legions to exist in the lower planes of reality. The reason behind biogenetically engineering fifth and fourth density vehicles was because, by divine decree, it was prohibited for any fallen light intelligence to inherit the Adam Kadmon body, or the angelic human form, for going against divine protocol. This was forbidden by the order of the Ancient of Days, acting under the direction of the highest of the central, eternal, universal spheres. Therefore, throughout all cosmic history, the children of Samana were marked as the abomination of light. In our world, we may trace this mark of the beast back to our biblical Cain, Ham, and Nimrod, as this personage carried the highest concentration of reptilian DNA in their genetics. More on how the reptilian DNA was transferred to our Earth, becoming the abomination of desolation of the biblical text, will be explained later in chapter 11. So from the initial fall, Samana's plans were to bring our universe under his control. And since our galaxy is part of our local universe, it became targeted for two reasons. The first and most important one is that in our galaxy there exists a specific planet that was originally set up by Prime Creator to be the culmination of all revolutionary and evolutionary cycles, from the creation of the first major universe of Jesus to the last creation of Michael. This meant inheriting the best qualities of every prior universal creation that existed prior to the formation of the last universal creation known as the 12th major universe. The chosen planet for this final masterpiece is our current Earth. Since then, the original purpose for our present Earth was to become a showcase planet in all the cosmos, not only in the last universal creation, but in all Orvatan, the seventh super universe, which is 1/7 of the entire grand central omniverse. Therefore, since Earth inherited all the qualities of the entire evolutionary potential of all Orvatan, the seventh super universe, it was always coveted by all descending celestial intelligence. For since the beginning our Earth was set apart in order to bring in the divine plan of the highest, and still is. That is why the last battle takes place here, according to all prophetic traditions. It has also been revealed that at the end of linear time, or third dimension, our planet would be restored and become the showcase world it was meant to be. This prophetic vision has continued and echoed through all eons in our galaxy for millions of years, and it's now coming to fruition in our times as our planet ascends. In addition, higher evolved human beings, our parent race, collectively known as the Pleiades, who were recorded to be the angels or sons of God in the Bible, are coming forward revealing their connection to our world. The Pleiades are also confirming the fact that our planet indeed was set up as a living cosmic library containing everything in creation. Now, in uncovering the history of our galaxy, we could now begin to compare the Sith of Star Wars to the serpent reptilian race of our ancient galactic past that became known as the dragons or biblical demons. This is what ancient manuscripts have documented to be the ancient battle between celestial man, angels, and fallen angels, demons, or Draco-reptilians. It was revealed that the fallen celestials, upon incarnating in fifth-dimensional vehicles, lost their connection to the higher chakras, and thus were operating with an imperfect body of light. Now, as far as the real Star Wars that took place millions of years ago, was known as the Wars of Orion. It was a battle between the celestial humanoid family of light inhabiting Upper Orion and the reptilians dark of Lower Orion. It was this battle that determined the outcome of our galaxy. According to various independent researchers and benevolent extraterrestrial celestial sources that are now coming forward, have all confirmed that the fallen celestials, upon incarnating into their grotesque vehicles, settled first in a region far from the center of our galaxy where the light was overwhelming for their fallen light bodies. This region became known as the lower belt of Orion. Thanks to our galactic logos, Melchior, who heads the council of the central sun operating from the center of our galaxy, the fallen celestials could not inhabit regions that were in proximity to the great central sun at the center of our galaxy. Apparently, their light bodies began operating with less light quotient, forcing them to settle in a region that would allow for their fallen light energy to exist. Of course, in an act of intelligence, they settled in Lower Orion for the purpose of gaining control over the biological programming center of our Milky Way galaxy. This allowed the dark forces to control population stellar star systems in the third concentric level in reference to the central sun. The dark forces knew that it was impossible for them to gain control over the higher regions of the first and second concentric levels surrounding the central sun due to the higher radiation of light at the center of our galaxy. However, Samana understood well that he who controlled the Orion region of our local galaxy would rule all the other regions from the third concentric circle, as well as the fourth concentric circle where our Earth hangs today in the outer rim of our galaxy. IAs confirmed in the Keys of Enoch, Orion was revealed to be the mission control center that allowed access to any part of our Milky Way galaxy beyond the second concentric ring. This allowed access to all the systems and worlds in the third and fourth concentric rings. Fortunately, the higher stargates of Orion were secured by the forces of light for the very reasons that these stargates access other galaxies and other universes. In fact, Orion was known to the ancients as Kessel, as they recognized it as an important integral sign in the heavens. This explains why the ancient Egyptian pyramids were constructed in alignment with the stars El, An, and Ra of Orion. It has been revealed that from these systems the forces of light administered control to our fifth, fourth, and third dimensional universe. Considering this, the war in heaven has been a perpetuated war that involved a battle that has been affecting many worlds and galaxies. At one time, it involved our entire galaxy until the forces of light began to establish themselves in Orion approximately 4.5 million years ago. But before the heavenly war affected our galaxy, the Order of Melchizedek, hailing from Salvington, established an advanced spiritual etheric civilization at the center of our galaxy. These would secure the victory of light by harnessing the power of our central sun. As a result, the Sirius trinary system was quickly inhabited by etheric beings that had secured the stargates from the first concentric circle. This move prevented any dark force from ascending the systems that were in proximity and connection to the central sun where the etheric guardians of our galaxy were stationed. At this point, our galaxy split into two sides. On the one side, we had the descending human family of light that was led by Michael, becoming the first spiritual incarnated beings that planted the seeds of divinity in our local galaxy. Many esoteric sources are now confirming that Lord Michael was the first solar being to incarnate as the first fifth dimensional human, Adama. This took place millions of years ago in Lyra, before the accepted biblical account of Adam that was distorted by the fallen celestials. In like manner, Samana became the first Dracon reptilian to incarnate and plant his seed in our galaxy in the lower Bellatrix system of Orion on a solar system known as Regal. As mentioned, both groups were given a creation myth to abide by. The reptilians' creation myth held that they were entitled to ownership of the entire galaxy, and that if they encountered other sentient beings, regardless of the level of development, that they were to subdue and conquer them in the name of Samana Draco, their leader, the first Sith. This was the Draconian creed and creation myth as laid down by fallen Lord Samana and his followers. On the contrary, the Adamic celestial humanoids had another creed and universal standard to abide by. It was to bring peace, freedom, universal cooperation, and most importantly, to spread the light of a loving creation to the entire galaxy. The first Adamic angelic humanoids in our galaxy, our ancestors, were taught that everything in existence was sacred and that everything was interconnected and alive. They also believed that everything functioned as a unit of one, as to why they have always been referring to us, the children of the One. On the contrary, the reptilians held the idea of separation and so began to initiate the first acts of conflict by plundering all other sentient life forms that got in their way of achieving absolute domination of our galaxy. The forces of darkness first settled in the star system of Regal that became their first galactic stronghold in lower Orion next to the Bellatrix system. They expanded into other regions as well, settling in the Bellatrix system, including Alpha Draconis and Sigma Draconis, known as the Draco star systems, which became their second stronghold. Eventually, Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 in the Rambala system also joined, as did Epsilon Boots, the Altar system, and Capella system. and the Bernard system. From the Regal system, the Dark Forces began a long military expedition of conquest, bringing many planets and star systems on their side of the galaxy under their absolute control. The fact that they harnessed the power of several local suns made them a population of 2 stellar space-age civilization. The fact that they were extremely technologically inclined allowed them to traverse the galaxy before the original celestial humanoids did. The celestial humanoids, on the other hand, were more inclined spiritually as they used their natural light body for interdimensional travel. After a couple of million years, the seeding of our galaxy was underway as millions of planetary systems within the periphery of the second and third concentric circles had already evolved to the level of space travel population, one interplanetary and stellar system, at which point we also had many life forms springing forward throughout the second and third concentric rings of our galaxy. Perhaps some of these star systems were inhabited by other sentient beings, not necessarily humanoid, that might have been the dragon's first successful accomplishments. According to the higher knowledge, the Dracos did bring many worlds and systems under their control, and in some cases they implement horrific suffering with their advanced technologies of death. For example, from the various technologies of death and destruction, in one case, they had genetically altered certain species, creating mutant races, as well as implanting them with nanochips to control their thoughts by remote control. Talk about absolute mind control. This galactic horror perpetuated until the Draco reptilians reached the region of the original human colonies in the Lyra system. This span of distance gave the original celestial humanoids enough time to exist in peace, brotherhood, sisterhood, and freedom for a couple million years before the encounter with the Dracon reptilians. Knowing that this might have to happen after securing the highest regions of our galaxy, the forces of light established their first stronghold in the Sirius Lyra system, creating a coalition of light that eventually spread beyond the first concentric circle, bringing other advanced worlds into the Alliance. This coalition of light was carried over from the restored galaxies as the Seal of Paladar, as mentioned. It was there in Sirius Lyra where the descending celestials, humanoids, as they were then known, first begun colonizing other planets. One became known as Avalon, which became a harmonious spiritual civilization. It resembled the first advanced human society known as Planet Avon, the original 8th dimensional Earth. Eventually, the early humanoid family spread to other star systems in the surrounding areas of Lyra, spreading the light of a loving creation to other sentient, evolving terrestrials from the planets encircling in the outer rim of the galaxy. Everything went well until the celestial humanoids encountered the Dracos. The interaction with the Dracos caused the first Star Wars in our galaxy, as they were both at population 2 stellar level space age status, both acting upon different creation myths. As mentioned, the original celestial humanoids were mostly inclined spiritually. This meant they utilized a spiritual technology commonly known as Merkaba to traverse the different dimensional planes of existence. Merkaba would allow the celestial humanoids to materialize anything they needed, including a spacecraft, by the power of their own thoughts, as they did in the fifth major universe dedicated to the power of thought. Therefore, in Lyra, all humans were telepathic, and force of the direct royal line of Lord, I think it's supposed to be of course, anyway, Michael was the most advanced and was considered the highest adepts in understanding and mastering the energy forces of the entire light spectrum. In other words, they accessed the full power of their light body, capable of manipulating the elements and energies of the universe, likened to the Jedi Knights of Star Wars. The Lyran celestial humanoids, led by an incarnated version of Lord Michael, became fully aware of the intentions of the Dracons. They sensed the attacks through their clairvoyance and prepared for their first galactic battle in defense of their original habitat and home star system. As descending intelligence of the central universe, they also received guidance by the spiritual hierarchy and the celestial order of Melchizedek, who operated as their overseers and spiritual counterpart from the higher etheric and celestial spheres, which always control the outcome of everything. Luckily, it is believed that the celestial hosts of non-incarnate beings, celestials, also hold power over and controlled what has become known as the dark side. Therefore, good and evil are ultimately controlled by the highest good, and that is why evil, or darkness, is always on the losing end. The victory of our first galactic war in our Milky Way was won by the greatest support and assistance of Lord Michael and Emilius Adam of Lyra. Emilius Adam established an awesome plan that would initiate the restoration process for our entire galaxy, springing from their galactic headquarters in the sector of Lyra Sirius. Thanks to Emilius, the first incarnating version of Michael, the forces of light won the first battle in Lyra. However, this cultivated the grounds for many battles to come that would involve our entire galaxy for the next millions of years. Due to these ancient advanced civilizations, we may then conclude that our galaxy version of Star Wars occurred in our distant past and perhaps might have ended 12,000 years ago at the sinking of the world's last advanced civilization known as Atlantis. Initially, after securing Lyra, the forces of light began extending the office of Christ, the seal of Paladar, to the region of Orion. There is Orion. They immediately settled in the upper systems, where the light was much for the fallen light beings to withstand, but just right for the forces of light. This move not only secured the stargates to other galaxies and universes, but it also secured the central control programs that allowed access to other star systems in the third and fourth concentric rings. The fourth ring is where our Earth hangs, and where many new worlds were coming into being. These moves prevented the forces of darkness from extending our galactic war to the rest of our galaxy, which was the other 80%. Therefore, from the upper systems of Orion, the great plan was initiated to begin the liberation of systems and worlds that had been controlled by the fallen celestials, Dracos. The War of Orion lasted for millions of years. Almost all the star systems in Orion were involved in this battle. This event was a galactic war of colossal proportions, destroying many worlds and in some cases solar systems as well. But after millions of years, it's now come to an end in the victory of the light. The fact that the forces of light secured the Ra Stargate, the Horsehead region, and the L region, given the light the eventual victory not only in Orion, but also for our entire galaxy. Other regions in our galaxy that became inhabitable by the early descending celestial humanoid family were, of course, the Pleiades star system, which is considered a cradle of human consciousness, according to the keys of Enoch. In fact, Enoch revealed that the Pleiades anchored and carried forward the seed of the celestial humanoid family to the many solar systems within the Pleiades, including our solar system. For it has been confirmed by all esoteric literature that our local sun in which the Earth revolves about is the 8 missing sisters, or the 8 stars of the Pleiades. Other humanoid star systems that participated in the battle on the side of light and life, led by the forces of light in pursuance of the Seal of Paladar, were the Hathor system, the Betelgeuse system, the Arcturian system, and AN system, the Alpha Centauri system, the Epsilon Eridani system, and the Tau Ceti system, to name a few. It is believed that this conflict between our galaxy's humanoids and the Dracos, lasting for millions of years, creating a galactic Star Wars in the early history of our galaxy. However, it is my honor to reveal that this conflict is now ending with the ascension and restoration of the Earth. Apparently, from the initial unfoldment of our galaxy, the forces of light managed to narrow the galactic horror to a single planetary affair here in our world. The concept that a long time ago we Earth humans were part of a greater galactic community supports all the latest theories and cutting-edge science regarding our multidimensional existence and the idea that we are one of many civilizations. In fact, it has been confirmed that the Earth on which we live was once a member of the organized Galactic Confederation of Free Worlds under the leadership of Lord Michael. It appears that our planet Earth has been quarantined since the Dracos, fallen angels, took over during the times of Atlantis. It is also known that upon our planet's ascension, we will have open contact with the Galactic Federation. For the record, let it be known that out of the billions of star systems that exist in our galaxy, less than 20% of them became inhabitable or occupied by all descending celestial intelligence existing in stellar communities. It appears that about 80% of our galaxy is waiting to be colonized, and that takes effect after the ascension and restoration of our Earth. This provides more evidence that our existence was first in the stars, and before that, it was in the always existing spheres of the central universe, Motherverse. Again, it is important to understand that the great galactic prophecies profess of a time that when our planet Earth ascends, its livestock will repopulate the rest of our galaxy. This means that the rest of our uninhabitable galaxy, which is 80%, will be seeded by all the Earth's life forms. This also tells us that the current human species on Earth carries the greatest genetic diversity in our galaxy, which in a way makes us the culminating masterpiece of all creation within the super universe of Orbiton. Therefore, in the aftermath of our ascension, our Earth would be operating at all three major population systems as it was before our planet Earth became quarantined and isolated from the rest of the cosmos. And when we pick it back up, my friends and family, we will pick it up at chapter 8, the formation of the Galactic Federation of Free World, hence their logo, Galactic History, Part 2. And we leave you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator.